Hello, standing here today on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, while 13 Israeli women still remain hostage by brutal Hamas terrorists in Gaza after 416 days. Behind me are the parents of Shani Louk, who was brutally murdered at the Nova Festival and whose body was barbarically paraded in the streets of Gaza on October 7th. There are also the relatives of 3 women still held hostage, Emily Damari, Arbel Yehoud, and Doron Steinbrecher. They traveled to Geneva to break the deafening silence of the United Nations on the plight of Israeli women, who have been murdered, raped, mutilated, abused in so many ways. They came here to call for the release of their loved ones and of all the 101 hostages that are still in Gaza. The United Nations has taken too long to address the sexual and gender-based violence committed by Hamas, while the videos, pictures, and testimonies of these atrocities were still circulating live. And ever since, it is doing too little to tackle this seriously and forcefully. 1 year later, there is still not a single UN resolution condemning Hamas, and particularly the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war. That is shameful on the UN, shameful on the world for being quiet on these issues. The United Nations has been behaving like the 3 monkeys: see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. Let me be clear, Hamas's crimes, and particularly its sexual and gender-based abuses, violate all basic norms and values in any country, in any religion. Their actions are not those of freedom fighters, like some want to portray Hamas, but those of brutal terrorists who do not care about human life and dignity. If the United Nations cannot manage to condemn these acts, then its moral compass is lost. Unfortunately, the UN is not the only organization that has experienced a moral eclipse. The outrageous decision of the International Criminal Court, the ICC, has turned universal justice into mockery. Israel is engaged in a necessary and justified war and is conducting it while abiding by international obligations. Comparing the leadership of a democratic country with a robust and independent legal system to the leaders of a brutal terrorist organization is a despicable act. For the past year, time and again, the United Nations and other international bodies have failed the Israeli people, has failed the Israeli women. On this day, I urge every UN official, every representative of the international community to speak out unequivocally and demand the immediate release of the Israeli women, the immediate release of all 101 hostages. It is time for the UN to redress its moral compass and to act. Let me invite Ricarda Louk and Yami Ashkenazi to say a few words. Their stories are heartbreaking, but their courage, their dignity, and resilience in the face of unimaginable pain oblige us all to act. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ricarda Louk. I'm the mother of Shani Luk. Shani, on the 7th of October, was dancing in the festival of the Nova. She was a peace-loving, happy girl, celebrating with her friends, international friends, her boyfriend from Mexico, and they just wanted to be happy and in peace. When the rocket started, she tried to flee, and she took the car, she drove around 15 kilometers, and then the terrorists caught her there and murdered her brutally. They took her body on a pickup truck to Gaza and filmed it and showed it in Telegram. This is the way our family found out. They saw this horrific video that she was driving on a pickup truck, half naked, and transferred to Gaza. The Gazan people came around, hundreds of people, celebrating her and spitting on her like a trophy in a most humiliating way. And this is the way my family, my kids found out about the death of my daughter. We still thought for another 3 weeks that maybe she's still alive and in Gaza, and turned the world upside down just to get her out of there, with no success. And we found out that she died on the Israeli soil on the first day, on the 7th of October. 8 months after only, we got the body back. Only after 8 months we could really have a funeral and bury her as it should be. And for our family, the circle is closed, but we have many families here that are still waiting for their loved ones, that don't know where they are, how they are, and what situation they are. And we're here to say that the massacre happened. We know, we are the witnesses of it, and we are here to remind the world that this is the way it started and how civilian peoples were attacked brutally like this. And the world needs to wake up and act and do something. It's good to have empathy of people, but we need actions. People need to react and act and get the hostages out. They are too long. There are 416 days is way too much. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Yami Ashkenazi. Since October 7th, 2003, I am a survivor of the massacre in Kibbutz Kfar Azza. On that day, hundreds of Hamas terrorists occupied my kibbutz, brutally murdered 64 friends and family from my community, and kidnapped 19 women, men, and children. In all, 1,200 Israeli were murdered by Hamas. Over 250 were taken hostage. One of them is my little sister Doron, a dual Romanian Israeli citizen. I'm here today in Geneva with the delegation of Israeli women, including the families and friends of Arbel Yehoud, a German Israeli, and Emily Damari, a British Israeli, who being held hostage at this moment in Gaza by Hamas. We are also here with the parents of Shani Luk, a German Israeli who was murdered on October 7th by Hamas. We've arrived for the sole reason of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women to demand the UN and ICRC to wake up, take action. Our women are being tortured. Our men are being beaten. We are given no information about our loved ones except through the Hamas terror video clips. Every moment that my little sister and 100 other hostages are still being held hostage in the dark in dangerous Hamas terror tunnels is critical. Even at this very moment that I'm speaking, I do not know if my sister is hurt. I do not know if she is alive. I do know that we must not remain silent. This nightmare must not continue. It is a humanitarian and moral obligation to release the Israeli hostages immediately and unconditionally, and it needs to be done today. Thank you.